Good evening, everyone. Myself, Ms. Saili Gupte from Mangrove Foundation. I will be your host for today's session. At the beginning, I would like to request all the participants to keep your camera and microphone off. The participants who have joined us via laptop kindly switch to the option of active camera from the top for the better view of the session. I welcome you all for this storytelling session on Have You Ever Heard a Whale Sing book on the occasion of World Ocean Day. The Mangrove Cell, Government of Maharashtra and the Maharashtra Mangrove Foundation works towards the protection and conservation of mangroves and marine ecosystem of Maharashtra. We also promote research, sustainable livelihood activities, ecotourism, and strengthening the coastal communities by capacity building. Coming back to the session, I would like to introduce our today's storyteller, Ms. Nishna Mehta. She is pursuing her MA in theatres for young audiences at Rose Bruford College of Theatre and Performance from England. She has worked as a performer, director, light designer and operator, workshop facilitator, marketing manager, and administrator for various theatre companies in Mumbai. We also have a subject expert with us today, Ms. Isha Bopardikar, who is a researcher studying marine biology. Her work primarily focuses on using sound produced by marine animals to understand how they interact with each other and their environment. Currently, she is applying acoustics to study coastal marine mammals in India. IISER at now, I would like to request Nishna for the tour.
Have you ever heard a whale sing? Written by Divya Panicker and illustrated by Deepti Sharma. The beach can be a very noisy place. Whoosh! The waves rise and crash. The wind howls. The gulls cry. Now imagine that instead of being close to the ocean, you are under it. It isn't much quieter down there. Crackles the snapping shrimp. Grunts the lemonfish. A boat passes by. What's that sound? It's the whales singing in the distance. Strong, loud, and melodious. Whales sing short and long songs. Some songs last just a few minutes. Some songs can go on for half an hour. And some songs go on for hours at end. There are many kinds of whales. Blue whales and grey whales are named after colors. Humpback whales and bowhead whales are named after the shapes of their backs and heads. Omura whales and Broodies whales are named after people. Each kind of whale has its own song. Just listen and you will be able to tell who is singing. Each species has different communities. They live in different parts of the ocean. Each community has its own songs. A blue whale in the Indian Ocean will sing a different song from his cousin in the Pacific, just like humans speak several languages based on where they are from. Humpback whales are excellent composers. They mix and match several notes together. When you listen carefully, you can hear that each humpback whale song is made up of patterns of many notes. Blue whales sing much simpler songs. Their songs consist of just a note or two, but they make up for it by being very loud. Very loud. Blue whales can be heard over 1,000 kilometers away. Imagine a friend singing in Bengaluru and you being able to hear it in Mumbai. Bowhead whales that live in the cold Arctic Ocean are also musicians. All through winter, during days and nights of complete darkness, bowhead whales sing their songs under the frozen sea. Not just one song, but many different ones. Fin whale songs are so low-pitched that humans need help to listen to their songs. Scientists place specially built microphones and recorders under the ocean to hear them properly. So why do these whales sing? As far as we know, only male whales sing. Scientists think that it is to impress female whales or tell each other, "Look what a powerful voice I have. This means that I am bigger and stronger than you." As scientists learn more about whales and their songs, the biggest mystery still remains. What are they saying to each other? We may not understand what these songs are about, but we do know that they are beautiful to listen to. Thank you for listening, and now I would like to invite Isha to tell us more about marine mammal sounds. Isha, can you please turn on your microphone and camera?
Hi, I can't change my camera setting somehow. Sorry. I think it's a admin only thing.
So maybe
You can now check if you can do it.
Hi.
Hi Isha. Yes.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for that. It was fun to listen to.
right. So, is there something you would like to tell us from within the story? Because I have a lot of questions, like maybe a lot
Yeah,
of our viewers right now.
yeah, sure. So I'll just start by introducing what I do. So basically, I use sounds to study marine mammals. That is, I use the sounds that they produce to understand how they interact with each other and their environment. And underwater, it's very difficult to see these animals all the time. But a good thing about these animals is they constantly produce sounds to interact with each other, to find food, to navigate through their environment. Because light is very limiting underwater. Beyond a few hundred meters, you can't really rely on visual aid. So these animals have adapted to use sound to the max of their ability because sound travels much more efficiently underwater. It travels about 4 times faster underwater than in air. So these animals have sort of adapted themselves to use sound as their primary sensory modality. And not just marine mammals like not just cetaceans and whales, dolphins and porpoises, even the snapping shrimp, fish, they all use sounds in some way to get around their environment. So acoustics becomes a good tool to know more about these animals and know more about their ecology and behavior. So that is what we study. This is one great tool that we use, and it's also fun to listen to underwater sounds all the time, except the
So then what is the difference between fish and whales and dolphins? How are
okay.
they
So
different from each other?
uh, whales, dolphins, porpoises are all cetaceans. They are marine mammals and mammals like us. So like cats, dogs, humans, they give birth to live young. They have to come up. They have to resurface every time to breathe. So that is their primary. They're not fish. In spite of the fact that they live in the same aquatic environment, they are different than fish. And whales and dolphins are also different. But whales are baleen whales, and you have toothed whales. So whale is a general term, but baleen whales are the giant whales that we know, the blue whales, fin whales, Brody's whales, and all of these whales, they don't have teeth. They have these huge baleen plates, which is like a brush, and they take these big gulps of water and they filter their food through that. Whereas on the other hand, dolphins, porpoises all come under toothed whales, and big toothed dolphins are also called whales, like sperm whale. It's not a whale; it's a dolphin. It's an odontocete, and these guys all produce different types of sounds. Like porpoises and dolphins use echolocation clicks, whistles, and burst pulses, whereas whales use different calls and they sing. That is,
Right. Um, and how big are whales? So if we're talking about, well, maybe you could tell us more about the whales that came into the story.
yeah.
Which,
So all those whales are baleen whales and they are very big. But overall, cetaceans, you have a range of sizes from the smallest that is like 4.5 feet. That the porpoises are very small, and then you have the largest animal that has ever lived on Earth. That's the blue whale, and they can get up to 95 feet long. So they are very big, but they have to be big so that they can keep themselves warm in cold waters.
and so which of these species do we see in the coastal waters of Maharashtra or even other parts of India, or are there any others that we see here?
So in the baleen whales, we have three species that are seen in coastal waters. We have the Brody's whale, we have humpback whales, and we have blue whales that come quite close to our inshore waters. Humpback whales have been spotted in Netrani and Goa, and we've seen blue whales and Brody's whales along Maharashtra.
Okay. Um, Sally, do we have any questions from the audience, or if somebody from the audience has any questions, you can put them in the chat box.
Hello.
Yes.
This lecture was supposed to be uh, about the songs of the whale. Now, how the song or the language is different from the mere sound that is made. How do you make it, rather decipher it as song?
Should I answer? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Isha.
How do you
Yeah.
distinguish? How do you distinguish the language of whales as mere sound and the language? Because the language should have, words, sentences, and something like that.
So
how do
songs
you
usually
decipher
follow a
those?
pattern. Can I? Hello?
No, I came halfway between.
Hello? What is
Hello.
I missed the question? Sorry.
Isha, there is a question that do porpoise produce sound?
Yes, they do not whistle or they do not have these song-like sounds, but they only click. So they produce these very, very high frequency echolocation clicks that fall in a very small frequency band. So we cannot hear them with our hearing because our hearing is very limited, but they produce extremely high frequency sounds.
Okay. So we
Sorry, I
use
missed that
some
question about the
gadgets for
song.
that?
I didn't.
Hello.
Yeah. Next.
Another question that we have in
Hello.
the chat is,
Isha?
Yes.
do whales show parental care?
Yes, they do. They have very strong mother calf bonds, and they can they spend a lot of time nursing their young. Sometimes, like dolphins and the calf, they stay together for at least 3 years. And all these animals have matrilineal societies, so the mother calf bonding is very strong, and the groups are usually female dominated.
We have another question. Why are whales bigger?
Why are they so big?
Why are they bigger than the other? Yes.
Oh, the baleen whales usually live and feed in cold waters, so they have to be big in order to trap enough body heat. But they also can't get too big so that they can't feed themselves. So they have to find that perfect balance between size and being able to eat enough food. So that's one reason why they are so big. That's one of the theories.
Okay. The next question is, what is the difference between porpoises and dolphins?
Porpoises and dolphins have different tooth structure, different skull structures. Their porpoises have these very rounded, stubby teeth, whereas dolphins have pointy teeth. That's the primary difference between a dolphin and a porpoise.
Okay. And how long is a baby whale?
Oh, it can be quite huge. I don't know the exact length, but they can be like 30, 35 feet, I'm guessing. They're quite big.
Hello.
Yes.
So, what are the techniques you use to measure the sound? Like you said, from 1,000 kilometer, the sound of whale can travel. So, how do you
Uh,
measure that?
So that depends on the sound. Actually, we use specialized microphones called hydrophones because they go underwater. And usually
Okay.
these hydrophones are connected to recorders, just like how you
Uh,
would be recording in a terrestrial environment. You have a microphone and a recorder. Here it's a hydrophone and a recorder. Sometimes the hydrophones are inbuilt with the recorders. And how far a
okay.
sound travels usually depends on the sound and its properties. So if it's a low frequency sound like the baleen whales, it can travel for hundreds of kilometers. But if it's a sound produced by the porpoise, which is usually very high frequency, it attenuates very fast. So
Okay.
that is like a few meters or one around a kilometer, depending on the aquatic conditions also.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And there's a question from closer home. Where can one spot dolphins near Mumbai?
You can go out to the sea, and I think they've been seeing them at Nariman Point, Worli. So they are there. You just have to have a lot of patience and go out every day, I guess. Gateway
Um,
also. People have seen dolphins at Gateway.
okay. And how much milk does a baby whale drink from its mother?
I'm guessing a lot. It has to get huge real fast. But that milk is not liquid consistency. It's more like it's like curdlish. So it's very, very, very high fat content. So I'm guessing they drink a lot, a lot, because they have to get bigger, faster, and they have to gain that size.
Hmm.
I think they do drink up a lot.
Okay. Um, and why killer whales are called orca?
Well, that's their scientific name, the Orcinus orca.
Okay.
Where the orca comes from.
And do killer whales kill sharks?
I think yes. There was some. I read some article where they were killing sharks. So yeah, but there are different species of killer whales. Some eat mammals, some eat fish. So I'm guessing that's the fish eating killer whales.
Um, how do you analyze from whale sounds the behavior of whale?
So sometimes you do need visual backing to say, okay, this sound was associated with this particular behavior. And there have been studies that are going on for a lot of time. So we know that sometimes, okay, they produce these calls during feeding, or these calls are for mating, or these calls are parental in nature. So all this data comes with a little bit of backing from visual aids. Sometimes they tag whales and they tag mother calf pairs, and these tags usually fall off after a few hours.
Mhm.
And then from that we know, okay, when the whale was doing this behavior, this sound was recorded, and then you can sort of tally those two together, and you have more robust data for what is happening.
Okay. And I think we'll take one last question, which is, aren't killer whales actually known to kill whales? Isn't that how they get their name?
Yes, I don't I don't know much about killer whales, but they do kill other whales. That's true. They've been known to attack mother calf pairs that are migrating, and they kill the calves. So that is possibly why they do get that name.
Right. So now do you have any interesting anecdotes to share or something while you've studied and or some revelations or something interesting that you've discovered while studying, if you could
Awesome.
tell
I
us.
mean, it's fun to use sounds to study these animals, but it's also very, very tricky. Sometimes you don't know where the sound is coming from, because we can't hear everything within our range of hearing. So when you're on the boat, sometimes you can hear a sound, but I have no idea where it's coming from. For a long time, I didn't know that my own boat step sounder was making sounds that were consistently electrical. but then it took me a few months to figure it out, and they look like dolphin clicks. That was, yeah, unless the problem is you can't really see clearly underwater, and so we don't know what's happening under there. We can only hear them, so we can only assume so much about what's happening.
Okay.
So, thank you so much, Nishna and Isha. That was really a wonderful tour with the underwater world and whales. Now, I would like to request our Executive Director, Mr. Virendra Tiwari, APCCF Mangrove Cell, to express his thought about this storytelling session.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Saili. It was such a great presentation. Very interesting way the things were explained, how the sound travels, and how we can identify various type of whales with this sound. And today being World Ocean Day, and I thank Mangrove Foundation who organized this webinar, and I also thank the all the participants, and I hope they uh, found it very interesting, and we continue to interact with all the lovers of marine biodiversity in future also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. At the end of this session, I would like to thank our officials for supporting us, and I would like to thank all the participants and Nishna and Isha again. Lastly, I would like to request you all to please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can see our handles on your screens. Thank you so much and have a safe time.